It is Friday, September 25th, 2020, and this is an update on the Three Gorges Dam and current events in China. We have 4 pieces of information to cover today, including a look at the water level and live streams at the Three Gorges Dam. Also, courtesy of the American interest, how Chinese corruption spreads abroad. Next, courtesy of the South China Morning Post, China's surging corn prices blamed on speculators as Beijing plays down fears of grain shortage. We also have some new tweets. Let's hop into it. And a brief caveat before today's video. While researching for these reports, I come across information from various sources. Just because I decide to include a piece of information doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with it. I like to let you decide for yourself. Moving on. And let's have a look at the live stream at the Three Gorges Dam. As you can see, the spillway angle camera is up and running today. And checking in on the side angle camera, we can see that it remains deactivated. Next, let's check on the water level at the dam. The current water level is 159.52 meters. The current inflow is not noted, and the current outflow sits at 27,100 cubic meters per second. It is worth noting that these numbers are released by the CCP. And as we can see, the water level has dropped a bit in the past 24 hours at the Three Gorges Dam. It was 160.1 meters, and now it's below 159.6 meters. Upstream at Kuntan, the water level continues to fall also. Just 24 hours ago, it was about 170 meters, and now it sits right around 169.6 meters. We'll have to see what the weather brings this week. And this comes courtesy of the American interest, how Chinese corruption spreads abroad. Many large cities, including Wuhan, are located downstream from China's dams, several of which have been releasing floodwater as the rains have accumulated. The recent rains increased amounts of water currently being discharged from dams in China, and satellite imagery has raised reoccurring concerns regarding the structural stability of dams in China, especially the Three Gorges Dam, among other such infrastructures. The annual flood season in this part of China only begins in earnest around July, but authorities had started letting water through in June of this year. They had claimed that the opening of the dam spillways was for electricity generation purposes. Some days later, however, Beijing admitted that the water release was a part of emergency floodwater discharge. Authorities have also begun blaming foreign forces for trying to tarnish the dam and the Chinese government's image. As noted above, the release of these waters from the dams has compounded flooding in downstream regions. This, and not the alleged foreign propaganda, has been the cause of locals in China raising questions regarding the dam's structural integrity and whether the water release has something to do with the dam's structural weakness. Although greater clarity is needed, the locals' doubts are not entirely unfounded. Right from the start, the Three Gorges Dam, which is located in Hubei province, was controversial due to its ambitious scope and environmental impact. Based on sheer capacity, the Three Gorges Dam, which became fully operational in 2012, is currently the world's largest power plant. The structural integrity of this dam, however, has always raised questions. For example, shortly after the reservoir was filled up for the first time, approximately 80 cracks appeared on the dam. Even as recently as June of 2020, scholars and scientists raised red flags regarding the structural integrity of the Three Gorges Dam, but Beijing denied those claims. Scholars have also stated that the construction of this dam has contributed to exacerbating seismic activity and droughts. Even as far back as 2011, the Chinese government had admitted to the scale and scope of the problems caused by the dam. For instance, during a state council executive meeting, Chinese officials admitted that the dam had some urgent problems with regard to ecological environmental protection and geological disaster prevention. It might seem as if the Three Gorges Dam is a problem for China alone, but the doubts regarding its structural integrity also give rise to questions regarding the quality and durability of Chinese mega infrastructure projects abroad. Beijing has initiated or supported several construction projects of dams, roads, and pipelines in many foreign countries in Asia and Africa under the Belt and Road Initiative. If China's own major dam in its own country is structurally unsound, how safe might infrastructure projects constructed by Chinese enterprises in foreign countries be? Thank you for watching this video. If you're finding it informative, please consider giving the channel a subscribe. And this comes courtesy of the South China Morning Post. China's surging corn prices blamed on speculators as Beijing plays down fears of grain shortage. China's agriculture minister has blamed speculators for skyrocketing corn prices as Beijing continues to reassure the public the world's most populous country is not facing a grain shortage. Corn price recently hit an 8-year high following typhoons and floods that damaged the nation's corn belt. A trip to the area by the South China Morning Post this month found that swaths of cropland had been flattened, fueling concern among local farmers about a steep drop in output. China's imports of corn, which are mainly used in animal feed, hit their highest level in nearly 3 decades in the first 8 months of 2020, adding to anxiety over a domestic supply gap. But Han Changfu, the nation's Minister of Agriculture and Rural Affairs, said the surging prices were caused primarily by market speculation and irrational hoarding, according to an interview transcript published on the ministry's website. In the interview with state media, Han said the country had ample stocks of the grain and was set to have another bumper harvest in autumn, despite the impact of natural disasters in Heilongjiang and Jilin provinces, which together account for a quarter of China's corn output. New corn will enter the market soon. The supply will further increase, he said. Corn prices have started to stabilize. China's corn futures for January delivery hit 2,443 yuan per ton last week on the Dalian Commodity Exchange, the highest level since August of 2012, and up more than 35% from a year ago. But they fell by 2% on Wednesday, the sharpest drop since the beginning of the year, after Han's comments were published. Meanwhile, the bidding price for new corn in Heilongjiang, the country's largest corn-producing region, was this month more than 30% above what it was last year, the Post found after talking to traders. Feng Jilong, general manager of Dalian Northern International Grains Logistics Company, a corn trader, said the surge in corn prices was partly a result of speculation. New players are entering the market to stock up on corn at state auctions, he said. Although China has auctioned 560 million tons of corn reserves to calm supply concerns this year, only around 200 million tons had come into the market, Feng said. The State Council, China's cabinet, announced on Monday that all traders would be banned from stockpiling grains, except for China Grain Reserves Cooperative. Sun Lige, vice president of the Wellhope Agritech Joint Stock, expected authorities to take stronger measures to intervene in the corn price. Now the corn prices do not depend on what the market says, but what the government says, he said. The current price is certainly not what the state wants to see. And our last piece of information is a series of interesting tweets. And I think that's a good place to wrap up today's video. I hope that you found it informative, and check back soon for more content.